Good evening, race fans. I'm Pirate here from Black Flag E-Racing, here with the GT Champions World Cup, and it is group number 4. This is week 7, and what a car and what a track combination we've got for you. The Renault Sport Megane RS Trophy 2011. This is a very, very cool car. And the track, Trial Mountain. Brilliant track, brilliant car, and I can't think of a car and a track that go together quite as well as these two. I did loads of laps around here earlier. I did a lap purely for the purposes was to do a track guide for you guys to put on the video here. But what was supposed to be like 2, maybe 3 laps turned into be 20 laps of just absolute bliss. Absolutely brilliant. Now, it's been a busy day for racing. You may have noticed earlier that we had GT Fusion this week, and if you want to check out the race from that, it was a very, very good race. But we are here for something very, very different. So, last time out, what happened? Last time out, we were somewhere very different. We were at Barcelona. Last week we were at Barcelona in the fabulous BMW. Really, really good racing there at Barcelona. I've got to say it was something special. I am a big fan of Barcelona's track. I think it's a really, really cool track. And call me old fashioned, I like it better without the chicane, but it's still a fun track either way. And if you want to check out the stream from last week, there were some great races on this track. So, finished at Barcelona, they get on the plane and across we fly back to United States of America. Where do we go? To a fictional track this time. Nowhere in specific land, can we say. It's Trial Mountain though. What a track this is. It's a GT staple. Been around since the beginning. And I've got to say, sorely missed on GT Sport. What a track Trial Mountain is. 15 corners. And of those 15, there's only 2 I would say you don't have to brake for. Everything else is absolutely flat. Car, it's the Renault Megane. And this is a really, really nifty car. Very good in the corners. very good at the braking, decent top end speed. Let's face it, other than the really long straight in, you need something that's quick off the line and good around corners. And that's why Megane is absolutely perfect for this track, especially the final sector. But there we go, there it is, the Renault Sport Megane Trophy. It's a 2-litre front wheel drive, 261 horsepower, absolute beast energy on board. Power weight to weight ratio 5.48 kilograms. That's some powerful weight ratio. You've got to be impressed with a car like that. But around here, it is a dream to drive, absolute dream to drive. So, last time out, what happened? Well, this happened. Scarlet won the race, beating Igorski, but Igorski with the fastest lap as well, trying to close in on Scarlet. But good race, Toolshed bringing out, rounding out the top three. Heathen Tubes, Dry Bones Alone, Stangman, Average Viper, Chip Reese, Wax, OK Jake, Benjo 12th, Remy in 13th, and Cruentus brings up the rear. So what did that do to the leaderboard? Well, the gap at the top is 8 points. Igorski and Toolshed still chasing down Scarlet. Scarlet still maintaining that 8-point gap. Now, we're on round 7. And what is really needed here? Igorski needs to get ahead of Scarlet and finish a few places ahead. You know, you don't wish it on anybody, but I bet he's hoping and praying that, that Scarlet has a mishap today. Toolshed also is still well within the running, only a point behind Igorski, so everything to play for. But so that means the grid today. As we know, it's reverse grid styling. Cruentus will take pole position from Remy. Benjo from second row from OK Jake. Ace of Wax, third row with Chip Reese. Average Viper, Dry Bones Malone. Tubes, Heathen, Toolshed, Igorski, Scarlet. And at the back, because of penalties and whatnot, Captain Jack and Devlin. I was quite sure Devlin's at the back. Must be like a penalty somewhere. So, that's where we're at. I think without further ado, let's take a quick look at this track we're racing today. Well, we've still got 10 minutes left before the start. So, this is what we've got. Trial Mountain, what an awesome track. We know about the car, we know about the track, but this is a run here. So you come down the start-finish track into turn 1, very, very light braking, turning in, just getting changed down into 4th gear, just to get that car rotated. Then you're back on that power, as you can see, they're back on the power, in through turn 2, which is, depending on your tyre wear, a little lift, but you can take that flat. Into turn 3 where you brake as you go into the tunnel, little bit of trail braking just to get the rotation, and then on the power, once you can see the bend opening out and you can go really wide here, just be careful not to go on the grass. Then you come down the road here to turn 4 and 5, sorry, turn 5, sorry. Turn 6 is not really much of a turn. Turn 7, you've got a big break in here and you want to get it turned in quickly to get on the power quickly and get out of that corner. Turn 8, now this is a very, very key turn. You need to get a little bit of braking to get the rotation turned. And actually, if you see there, I'm actually wider than you really want to be. You want to be a lot narrower there through there. So you can come out wider on the exit, get a bit more time. And I think this lap was only I think it was 3 or 4 seconds short of 2 minutes this one, so it wasn't a super quick lap. But then you're off up the hill towards turn 9, which is your biggest braking zone, really, other than the final 2 corners. So you're going up the hill, changing to 6th gear just after you come out the tunnel, probably by the time you get there. As you then come down the hill, and you want to brake as early as you dare, because you want to turn in quite early here. I find that you turn in early, you can get a much better exit and get the car much straighter, and you've got loads of road to use to get out there. And again, I was a little bit tentative on the power there, as you can see in the video. This turn here is flat out, and as is the next one. And this is where you brake. You've got to brake here. You're down into 3rd gear to get the rotation of the car. Again, I missed the apex by some way there. It's an awful lap. And then you've got left-hander here for turn 13. That is pretty much the 3rd gear turn. So you're only changing down from 4th to 3rd. You want to stay wide right as you come down this hill for the final two corners. You've got pit entrance on your left hand side. So you stand to the right hand side here. You want to get on the brakes and try and get this really, really tight. Because what you need to do is stay as wide as possible so you can do that quite well. Actually, get on the power early, clip that later apex, and be on the power to the end of the start finish line. As I said, this was, I think, a 157. This lap was. To be fair, it was on soft tyres. Yeah, no, that's essentially your lap here at Tri-Mountain, and you cross the finish line there. Boom, job done. Pretty simple. Takes a bit of work to get it right, but I'm sure these guys have been practicing. So, without further ado, let's take a look at the runners and riders today. You know who I am, you don't need to know any of that rubbish. Everyone already knows who I am, and if you don't, it's too late. So there's the qualification lineup for the lobby. It is a 90-minute race. So around here we're looking about 40, I'm going to say 43 to 44 laps. But then that's very dependent on pace. If they are on the medium tyres, doing sort of 202s, 203s, I think we're going to be close to 41 or 42, and obviously it depends again on pitting, etc. But the pit window opens from 50 minutes to 40 minutes left of the race, so essentially 5 minutes either side of the halfway point. And it's times 2 on the fuel consumption, it's times 1 on the wear of the tyres. You must use 1 set of racing softs, 1 set of racing medium tyres. You only pit for those during that pit window. Anything outside the pit window is purely for repair purposes only. Points are distributed from 18 for a win all the way down to 1 point for thanks for coming. What else do you need to know? Not a hell of a lot, really. There is the runners and riders. I think we've got a relatively full lobby. I will obviously scroll down and have a look. We've got 13 of the 14 of the 15. No, here's another one jumping in, Formula One. I didn't see Formula One's name on the list. I'm assuming they're jumping in for somebody else. And as we know, obviously it is a formation lap, so they need to go out in formation. None of this grid start rubbish. It's a formation lap, so they form themselves up on the first lap and get into the right place. Now, there was a little bit of trouble last week with people doing it. And I'm going to say again now what I said then. You're going into this race, you know where you are on the grid, the information's available. Use your brains. You know the people that are in front of you, the person that's in front of you, the person that's behind you. If you struggle to count back from the lead, then just look at who's in front of you and who's behind. And if everybody does that, then you start in the correct places. And I did notice a bit of trouble on the Discord with people arguing about where there should have been a da-da-da-da-da. It is, though. That's my bit said. Anyway, so the tracks, what we got? We got one out there. Who is there? I don't know. Looks like a couple of people are running. Let's have a look who's running around. That might be a good idea. I know I've just got a couple of viewers. No one really talking on the chat, but I understand that. And I don't know what time it is for you guys, but for me it's 1:30 in the morning, and I've already done a massive World Championship today. So feeling the after effects a little bit. But this is how we suffer for our art, shall we say? Okay. That's where we're at. Let's go jump on track, shall we? See who's out there. So we have got, there's Toolshed. I'm loving the livery, buddy, loving it. I love that big livery. I'll tell you what, there's some great liveries in this GT Champions. Really, really cool liveries. I'm very impressed with what I've been seeing in terms of livery and such like. I'll tell you what I do want to check out before I do anything else. Talk amongst yourselves, please enjoy. So there is Toolshed. Toolshed's currently running third in the championship, and only 8 points. So 8 points separate him and Scarlett. 1 point between him and Igorski in second. So Aussie looking for a real opportunity to get ahead of the pair of them and build up some lovely jumping points. He's racing for the OGR team. Who else is running out? The Quentes for the United Kingdom, part of the ISO Racing Group. He is our pole sitter today, so hoping he'll go out with a bit of a bang and show us something special. That is not special. Captain Jack is currently at the bottom of the leaderboard, racing for Team Bull, and that's a Red Bull logo on the side. Let's have a look at his livery. A good little shifty at that. That is a full-on Red Bull livery. That is. There is nothing not Red Bull about that. Who else we got? There is Scarlet. Known Scarlet some time now. Good racer, also racing for the Ice Racing Group. Who always seem to chuck out quite decent liveries there, to be fair. And there he is in them again. Remy. I absolutely love this livery. I saw it very briefly when I jumped in before the stream started, I've got to tell you. If he leaves that up for sharing, I am having that. That is really, really cool. Who's that we just gone to? Didn't even check. Malone, Dry Bones Malone. Dry Bones Malone races for the... I can't even see him on the leaderboard. Must have another name on the leaderboard, but it's not up there. This is racing for somebody else. But yeah, it's a pretty decent livery. That looks like some sort of music sharing site on the side there. Don't know what it is, but there we go. Okay, Jake. Oh, that is cool. Look at that. It's like a tiger. Very, very cool. Okay, Jake is a privateer. Very, very cool livery there. Hailing from, I can't remember where Jake's from actually. From the United States of America. There we go. That's Average Tom, or Average Viper. Heathen. These two very, very close in pace. Do have some good battles between them. Cookies are cool. Oh, they are indeed. That's Wok Motorsports, or Ace of Woks, who races for United States E-Racing. There is Tubes. Currently ninth in the championship, races for the Ice Racing. We've got quite a few Ice boys in it. Scarlet, Devlin, Tubes, Quentis, and of course, we've got the enigmatic Benjo. And I'm assuming Benjo is in for Devlin, maybe. Well, no, he's not, because they're both on the grid, or listed to be on the grid. Benjo in third, of course. So we're about a couple of minutes away from starting before it all kicks off. There he is. Benjo. So we've got 1550. I love it. Don't you just love it when you get a full complement of 15 runners in a lobby? It's just awesome, isn't it? Just awesome. Fastest lap at the moment in practice is a 2017. Don't know what tyres that was done on. That's a relatively that's the sort of lap I'd expect. Race pace kind of lap. So I'm not quite sure what's whether someone's just not showing their pace properly. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn something off because for some reason it doesn't show properly on my screen. So we'll stay where we are. So there we go. There is Scarlet for the Ice Racing Group. Currently 2019. It's not a bad lap if that's racing pace rather than qualifying pace. Qualifying pace should be sub 2 minutes here. And if you bear in mind that I am, of all the drivers that I drive with, I am the slowest by some significant distance. So if I'm chucking out a 157 round here, then that's the sort of qualifying pace you'd expect. I would expect race pace to be around the 2 minute mark, particularly if you're looking after your tyres and your fuel. 201, 202 as a good steady race pace, depending of course on which tyres you are running, or whether that be mediums or softs. But it's certainly on a hot lap, you can do a 157 round here on soft tyres quite easily. There's Remy, United States. Dry Bones Malone, also from the United States. Now remember, at the end of the race, we will have interviews with the top three, or at least the ones in the top three who wish to be interviewed, shall we say. I do know there's a couple of lads out there, particularly Scarlett and Devlin, who English is a very second language, so they won't necessarily jump on for an interview, but I'm sure everybody else will. Will I get to talk to Igorski yet again? At the rate it's going at, and the rate Igorski is finishing in the top three, by the end of this season, I would have probably spoken to him more than I've spoken to my wife. So we'll see how things go. But formation lap has begun, if anyone actually decides to pull away, that is. There we go. See, this is the sensible thing. You should pull away in the correct order, and then there's no argument about where everybody should be. I like it. I like it a lot, Picasso. I have to jump out quickly, don't I? Because otherwise... So, if they go around in this order, then we shouldn't have the issues we've had previously with formation. So they go round in formation. So, it's Cruentes on pole position from Remy in second. Benjo will be third. We can bring up this information now because I don't need to jump out. How about that? Just play it all. Benjo will be forward. OK, Jake will be in fourth, or start in fourth place. Wax will start in fifth, with Average Viper, or Average Tom, whichever one he wants to be called, from the United Kingdom, starting in sixth place. Dry Bones Malone, United States, just behind him. And Tubes from, that is Australia, I assume, not New Zealand. I don't know if you can really tell the difference on these little flags. That's not New Zealand, that's ridiculous. So here he is in 8th place. He'll be starting just ahead of Heathen. Heathen can be very quick around Daytona. Good showing from the last couple of races as well. Currently running, will be running in 9th place. Ahead of Toolshed, currently 3rd in the championship, who is running ahead of Igorski, currently 2nd in the championship, who is running ahead of Scarlett, the current championship leader. 8 points clear he is of Toolshed, 7 points clear of Igorski. He needs to get ahead of them early on, or they will be taking points out of him today. That is going to be key. Then we've got Captain Jack sitting in 13th. Devlin will run in 14th place. Was running so well a couple of weeks ago at Autopolis. Then had a mass disconnection that for me probably cost him a podium place there. And in 15th place we've got Formula Juan. And I'm going to really enjoy saying that. I don't know what Formula Juan's actual other name is. I've got him down as... I've got it down as Devlin starting in the last place. Is that Captain Jack? Or I don't know. I know there's Captain Jack there I'm talking about. So I don't know who Formula Juan is covering for, but obviously someone. There is a couple of issues here. We should have. Let's go run through it before they start. Quickly, Crentis, Remy, Isa, OK Jake, Wax, Chip Reese is missing. Oh, is that maybe Chip Reese at the back there then? Or is he covering for Chip Reese? Chip Reese is missing, so everyone moves up one. That's why it looks odd. So, we go on board with Cruentes. This is where he takes control of the race, drops down to 55k into the penultimate turn. He is in control right now. He pretty much, from the line, decides when this race will start. So, let's go a bit further back actually, because what we want to see is how well these guys get away. I want someone that's got a good view. Nobody. Let's go there then, maybe. That'll give us a much better view. Who's really quick off the mark here? Who has got the impetus to make the jump? Let's get a bit forward. There we go. And there we go. It looks like Average... Oh, I thought they were going to go there, but now they do. They are away. Cruentes into the lead, of course, as he was the pole position sitter. That's the view I wanted. Get it right, Andy. Get it right. So, Cruentes is the early leader in this race. Remy in second. Benjo in third. Everyone's still holding their position. Little bit of movement there. We see Average Viper in 6th place. We've got Tubes. Tubes looks like Tubes is upper place. Heathen definitely upper place. So all moving around at the moment. Correntis, though, maintains a 1 second lead over Remy. With Wox up into third. He's already got himself past Benjo and past Jake as well. Where is Jake? Jake has dropped all the way down the order. He's down in 9th place already. Slipping down that order like a fat man down a hill. What can you say about that? What can you say about that? No pun intended. Benjo drops a place to 4th. He has got Average Viper half a second behind, looking to make a move on him straight away. Dry Bones Malone tucked him behind. Now, every time I watch these two race, there's always there or thereabouts, these two. Both race for the same team, so it's always going to be a little bit feisty. A little bit of lag from some of these cars here. And I'll tell you what, there's been some issue with lag in some of the lobbies lately. And I'm telling you what, crossplay just isn't working for GT7. I don't know what the answer is. There are certain people that need to clear their cache before they race, because that's a big difference. If you leave your cache full of all those cookies and bits and pieces, it's a right pain when it comes to lobby racing. But moving on, Heathen, there he is in 6th place, just about a second behind Dry Bones Malone at the moment. Captain Jack in 7th. Toolshed, he wants to get ahead. I'll tell you, he wants to get ahead. Scarlet making a move there on OK Jake, and looking to try and make a move on Toolshed. Well, look like a spin there, but they all got through cleanly. Scarlet does make a move, makes a move on Toolshed. Now looking to make a move on Captain Jack. He is the current championship leader. He's got a lot of work he wants to do. It's the current top 3 in the championship. Scarlet in 8th is 1st in the championship. Toolshed in 9th is 3rd. And Igorski in 10th is 2nd. He will want to get up in that order as quickly as possible. Formula Juan has moved his way up to 11th place. That is an awesome livery as well, that one. Love it. OK Jake down to 12th. Big slide down the order. Started in 4th place. Devlin in 13th. And we've already got Tubes and Benjo pitting to repair damage. Now, did the two of them have a coming together? So Benjo way down the order now. Benjo was running in the top 3. So as soon as you put your car in the wall, it's a good night Vienna, and into the pits you go for some new parts. Fastest lap of the race so far is a 2:05.2. The pace is not crazy hot out front at the moment. Not crazy hot at all. But Correntis built up a 1.7 second lead. Good to see a Brit out there in front. Go Brits. Obviously we had that with Average Viper at Daytona. So the Brits are representing in this in a very international tournament, actually. This and GT Fusion, 2 world championships, 2 very different world championships, but two that are very diverse, and it's good to see that kind of diversity in these racing lobbies, because often you go into a lobby and it's all you've got certain competitions and they're all very the same nationality, so it's good to see it all spread out a bit. So half-second penalty there for Correntis. Shouldn't be too much of a problem. He's already pulled out a 2.7 second lead as he goes through that penalty line. The penalty here isn't too brutal. It's far enough back towards the final turn for you not to have lost too much speed going through it. Fastest up in the race so far is a 2:01.6, so the pace is starting to ramp up. That was from Average Viper, who does tend to put in some quick laps. So Correntis 1.6 seconds clear of Remy in second place. They started first and second. They are still first and second. Wox has moved up a couple of places from 5th. He is now running 3rd. OK Jake went way down the order, and Benjo had some serious damage he had to repair. Is Wox going to make a move here? He does make a move on Remy round the outside. Does he make it stick? Absolutely. What a move that was. Average Viper is on a charge. Started in 6th. He's up to 4th. He's already on the back of Remy and looking to make some moves as they head into the tunnel. Some great slipstream to be had through this tunnel. You just want to tuck in behind, pick up that toe and go up the hill. And at the moment, Wox is pulling Remy and Average Viper up the hill. Is there a move on for the pair of them? Average Viper pops out one side. Does Remy pop out the other side? They do. Look at that. Remy and Average Viper side by side. And there's nothing Wox can do. That is the view as he gets sandwiched by the American and the Brit. And they go into the turn at the end. And Remy drops back to fourth. Average Viper and him side by side battling, and he loses out not only to his battle with Average Viper, but also to Wox, who he took on that straight. So, is there any damage on Remy's car from that little love tap? There's not. Remy drops down to fourth place. Average Viper, the big mover, from sixth place up to second on the racetrack right now. Scarlet, championship leader, has worked his way up to fifth place already from 12th on the grid. And he's got past Igorski and he's got past Toolshed, who are both his current championship rivals. That's a really good position to be in. And as we get closer and closer to the close season, this is what he will like to see. He's got Heathen just over half second, 8 tenths behind him, looking to try and maybe make a move. Now, we do know that Heathen has had some great battles with Average Viper. Can he match that kind of pace? I'll tell you what, Average Viper is looking the Brits are looking very racy around here. Just need Captain Jack to sort his life out and represent as Toolshed makes his move around the outside of Heathen. He wants to chase after Scarlet, does not want the championship leader pulling away from him. If anything, he wants to catch him and try and close that gap up. So that leaves the gap behind Heathen now 2.1 seconds to the, I think it's the last running Brit in Captain Jack in the Rebel team. A little bit wide there. That's going to allow Formula 1 to get a run on him. Formula 1 is going to get a run. Can he make it work? He doesn't, but he is now tucked in that slipstream. Igorski also tucked in. Are we going to see another sandwich here? Which way is Igorski going to go? He's closing on the back of Formula 1. He's going to pull to the left-hand side. Or is he just going to sit in there? No, it looks like Igorski is going to sit in and fuel save. Very smart strategy there. He could have taken him there, but he is deciding to play the long game and look after his fuel a little bit. Obviously, if Formula 1 decides to move over, I'm sure Igorski will say thank you very much and take the place. But playing the sensible long game, they're sitting in 10th. 11th behind him is Devlin. Not made any great moves through the pack at the moment. Gap is 1 second back to him. And then we've got 16 seconds back to Dry Bones Malone. He's got some damage on the front there. I'm assuming he's taken quite a hit somewhere to drop that far back. 1.9 seconds to OK Jake. OK Jake started in the top 4, and he's plummeting, absolutely plummeting through the order. Hasn't been able to do better than a 2:06 here. Don't really know what to say. Would have expected even just to be able to run a little bit there, but not his race today. Tube and Benjo have both had to repair for damage. So 2 ISO drivers at the back of the pack at the moment. Not looking good for the ISO drivers, although Tube has put in the fastest lap of the race with a 2:01.0. So has ramped up the pace, so Tube isn't going to be there for long, I wouldn't have thought. Looks like Tube is making some moves. Corinthians still in the lead of this race, but that lead has been cut down to less than a second. And touching the wall there is absolutely no good to him, because here comes Average Viper. He's got the momentum. Average Viper through. Wox follows him through. Corinthians clipping the wall there, and that is not what you want to see when you were leading this race. Let's get back to that view. There we go. So Average Viper in the lead of this race, but Wox with a good run on him into this turn. Quintus looking up the inside. Does he make the move? He's got the inside line, but I don't think he's got the momentum, and he's going to slot back into third in behind Wox. So Average Viper from 6th on the grid has made his way to the front of the grid, to the front of the pack, and he's starting to show some very good pace out there. The gap is 0.3 to Wox. Now, he needs to open up that gap a little bit, because Wox is also looking very tasty around here. As is Corinthians. Corinthians just makes a little error, clips that wall, it just slows up his momentum and puts him into the clutches of the 2 cars behind. The top 3 now pulling away a little bit. They've got their own little race going on, with Remy just sitting back there in 4th. At the moment, under no pressure from Scarlet. He can see the cars in front. They're within reaching distance. He completes lap 6. Well, they all complete lap 6, but Remy is there completing lap 6 with a 2:03.1. Tube's still the fastest man on track at the moment. Scarlet 2.2 seconds back. Toolshed is at him already. Toolshed does not want Scarlet to run away with this championship, and the only way he can do that is by passing him. He is just 7 tenths behind, looking to make a run on him. They're into the tunnel here. They're taking very, very different lines through there. Scarlet much, much tighter, seems to be much more defensive. OGR Toolshed, much wider lines through every single corner. Someone's been reading a cornering manual, but he starts very, very wide and turns in. Sometimes a bit too wide, I think, for some of these corners. Then what do I know? I'm not super quick. Again, different line through there. Look where they both pop out. Very different places they popped out from the turn. So don't think Toolshed's close enough here to make a move on the slipstream, but he will close up the gap, and he is closing. Not close enough to get a move done, unless he can get one done now up the inside. Doesn't look like he's close enough. He's looking. I'm kind of hoping Scarlet makes a mistake. Scarlet doesn't. Scarlet closes off. That looked a bit wobbly there, but he closes off that inside line. Doesn't leave a gap for Toolshed to get through. But the momentum of Toolshed at the moment is very, very solid. But again, look at the difference in the lines. Scarlet playing very defensive lines. Toolshed with a little bit looser with his line, but then he isn't under pressure from behind. But constantly looking for a better exit. So Scarlet seems to be quicker through the corner, whereas Toolshed seems to be quicker out of the corner. And I think at the moment, they're kind of, I don't know, it's different parts of the track seem to work differently for different drivers. These varying lines. But the gap is half a second. He's still trying to close. Nothing happening though for him at this stage. One more, there we go. They both crossed the line, complete lap 8. Quick look out front again. Average Viper still in the lead. I say that, and off Average Viper goes into the long grass. Luckily gets it back on the track, but walks into the lead of this race. Correntes, who had dropped to third, was 2.1 seconds behind, but should close that a little bit after Average Viper's little foray into the green stuff. Is he just starting to overdrive the car a little bit? Pace is ramping up. Tubes with a 2-minute dead, or 2-minute 0.6. So Tubes currently at the back of the pack almost, on a massive charge. Average Viper very steady, low mid to low 201s. So very consistent. Wox similar times, has just ramped it up from lap. His early racing was a bit slow, but he's now starting to ramp up that pace and matching the pace of Viper, currently in the lead. Correntes did have, it's been very sporadic actually. Couple of consistent laps, but he's now becoming consistently slower, and I think we're going to see Correntes start to make a slide towards the midfield here. There is Remy under significant pressure from the championship leader Scarlet, who is still trying to defend from Toolshed. Toolshed makes a move up the inside. They touch there, but I think no one goes off the track. I think you could pretty much say that's rubbing his racing. So Toolshed makes the move. So actually what that does, that saves Remy from Scarlet, because he was really in trouble from Scarlet charging on him. But Toolshed makes the move on Scarlet, and that pushes Scarlet back to 6th place. That promotes Toolshed up to 5th and saves Remy in 4th from being overtaken. But that won't last long, because Toolshed's on a charge, looking to make a move himself. Is there a move before they get into this very lightly braking turn 1? Tucked in behind his Toolshed. Very early on the brakes. I don't quite know what his thinking was there, but very early on the brakes. Great move there, though, up the inside. Makes that move on Remy. That was brave. But I thought Scarlet was going to dive up the inside there without braking. So Remy in 5th. There he is. Toolshed made such a great overtake up the inside there. To be fair, I wasn't sure that move was even on. But he saw it, he made the move, and up goes Toolshed. He's got 2 places on Scarlet. That is worth some points to him. That is closing the gap. So as it stands, the gap at the top of the leaderboard will be cut. Obviously, if Toolshed gets the fastest lap, that will be cut even more. And big changes occur, because Igorski is only 1 point clear of Toolshed at the moment. Igorski is way down the order in 9th place. So Remy in the middle of this battle, this top 3 sandwich, shall we say. These are top 3 drivers vying for those points, and Remy is that spanner in the works, causing some problems. Scarlet starting to close on him. Is there a move to be made? Can these two get themselves into the top 3? At the moment, Scarlet just being held off. Remy being quite smart with the way he places his car. Captain Jack up to 7th place. He has got Formula One and Igorski charging down on him. Igorski's been behind Formula One for some time now. And Captain Jack off the track. Need to be careful when you're coming back on there. You can quite easily have taken out both of those cars. So Formula One goes through. Can Igorski get through? Jack had every right to get there first, and he was. Formula One takes a nice wide line. Captain Jack not so much. Igorski, good line. It's interesting to see the different lines these guys are taking through these corners. Igorski tucks right on the back of Captain Jack. He does not want to see Formula One pulling away. He really needs to get up that order. He can see that Scarlet is way up. He can see that Toolshed, his other championship rival, way up. He needs to finish ahead of those two to close the gap on Scarlet and open the gap on Toolshed. But Captain Jack holding him at bay. And there is Heathen in behind now, closing up on that battle. So Igorski is no longer just looking ahead. He's got to look behind. He's got some significant pressure from Heathen there. And we hit the 20-minute mark already. It's been frenetic, frantic racing. And we are already halfway to the pit window when we will start to reveal just how everyone is doing on their strategy. And Igorski's still not able to make the move, but will he do it now? There's a couple of cars with Slipstream. Are they going to make the move with Slipstream? There is Apex Heathen looking to make a move on Igorski, tucked right in behind it. Or is he going to? No, he's not making the move. So these two are quite happy to sit in there and use the cars ahead for fuel saving. Igorski does make the move on Formula One. Heathen doesn't make the move on Igorski, and I felt the move was on. But is he making the move on Formula One though? He's gone up the inside. Can he make it stick? Because he's going to have the outside line here. He can't. So Formula One moves in and takes that inside line. But leaves the door open. But again, that's the door open, left open for Heathen. He hasn't taken the opportunity to go through it. Is this part of his game plan? Is he looking at doing... Or is he looking at the fact that Formula One's very laggy, jumping all over the road? And he's thinking, actually, I don't want to take a risk of getting taken out by this poor connection. And be dashed into the pits for emergency car surgery. Big slide there from Formula One. So it doesn't matter. He slid his car out of the way. That was a gap so big that you cannot resist. And Devlin also goes through up into 10th place. So Formula One loses 2 places there. The lag, I think for me, I think he even seen that little bit of sideways lag, and it's very risky making a move with that kind of lag, because if that lag kicks in at the wrong moment, you're making the pass. All of a sudden, you're both in a wall. You've got stewards trying to make decisions on something that actually is out of anybody's control, and then the person that went for the move, which would be Heathen, would end up with a damaged car and a penalty. Through no fault of his own. Now, was that a 2-second penalty I saw there for Heathen? What that? I don't understand where that comes from, because there's no real big corner to be cut there. Be interested to see what that penalty was for. If he makes it to top 3, you can tell me on comms later. But Igorski is 7/10 out the road. Right, what's going on out in front? We've looked at the battle in the middle. A yellow flag. Who's the yellow flag for? That'll be for Benjo. Not having the greatest of races is Benjo, back in 15th place. So Wax is in the lead of this race. Was at one stage in second. Did get swallowed up by Viper. Viper's had to concede back to second place. He's 8/10 behind. Wax running in first. Just trying to open up the gap. Fastest lap is for Tube. And Tube is way down in 12th place. So the pace is there, and actually everyone's got some decent pace there. So Wax goes through, Average Viper goes through, Quentis goes through. How close was that? Oh, no, sorry. Benjo goes through. That wasn't that close a race. I thought Quentis was right next to him. But it was Benjo. Easy mistake to make because they do race for the same team, so have exactly the same livery on the car. Yes, Quentis is still running. He's 2.4 seconds behind Viper, but still running in that top three. The top three are now 6 seconds clear of the rest of the pack, really. There's Toolshed running, and that overtake on Scarlet has absolutely slingshotted Toolshed forward. He has got some crazy pace. Lapping very low 202s, especially last couple of laps. Pulled away from Scarlet by 3.1 seconds. Scarlet, his pace isn't bad. Bit erratic, but he's a championship leader. He knows what he's got to do. He'll keep that car on the track and he'll make a move when it's time to. Captain Jack in 6th place. Gap is 7 seconds to Scarlet, so nothing doing there for him. Igorski, been happy just to sit in there. He's made a couple of places up. Sit in that slipstream. Let the fuel be saved. Let the tyres be saved. Not make any reckless moves. He does always look up the inside there, because if the door's left open for him, he's going to take it. But that time, Captain Jack is staying on the outside. That's the best place to be if you're defending, because it gives you the inside corner into the next turn when it's not too car wide. So you have to back out if you're chasing that, unless of course you want to crash your car. Remy running in 8th place. You can see the battle ensuing ahead. He can just hope that that battle drags him into it. 7 tenths ahead of Scarlet's compatriot, the championship leader's compatriot and friend, Devlin, DSR Devlin. Did used to be a member of what came before DSR, but we won't talk about that anytime soon. The less said the better, shall we say. 7 tenths behind is Formula 1. Thought he was going to be racing in this, but not been the case. Heathen back in 11th. Was looking quick, not anymore. He had a bad lap 11, 206.1. So we're just going past the 25-minute mark. 26 minutes in, we're on lap 13. Tubes is the fastest man on track with a 2:04, but running in 12th. So has been quick, but running in 12th place. And I've got to say, if it's all well and good being quick, but you've got to be consistent. He is moving up the order. He's 30 seconds clear of Dry Bones Malone, so there's nothing bad there. But he's still got 7 seconds to make up on Remy, and he is running in 12th place. There we are, Dry Bones Malone in 13th. You only have a gap like that if you've badly crashed your car and then gone in to repair it. OK, Jake, 25 seconds back. And it looks like Benjo has rage quit. Now, I like Benjo. I've met the guy. I've raced with the guy. But my feelings on rage quitting are clear. It's a fucking dick move, man. Just stay in the fucking race. Stop being it's a horrible dick move. Because you've got guys like OK Jake, Dry Bones Malone. These guys are going to be running around at the back for 90 minutes. Have enough respect for those guys to stay in the race and give them someone to race with. That's all I'm going to say no matter. Job done. If I'm proved wrong and it turns out there was a medical emergency or whatever, I apologise. But I don't think so. He was running last, he was struggling, and all of a sudden he's gone. That's a rage quit. Anyway, out in front there we've got Wax. We haven't. You sit on the control, you haven't. There is Wax. He's out in the lead. He's not got it all his own way though. He's not being allowed to pull away. He is currently 8 tenths back in front of Average Viper. And Average Viper just started to turn it on now. He's just done his best lap of the race at 2:01.0. So closing up on the back of Wax. He made an error which allowed Wax through in the first place. I don't think he'll do that again. Cruentes was started in the lead of this race and built up a little bit of nothing significant, but now just starting to get dropped by the pace of those front two. He himself has also put in his fastest lap of the race, But if you're going to be kicking up dust going into that turn, you're not going to be getting any faster. He's got no slipstream. Slipstream is king in this part of the racetrack because you're going uphill. You want to get a little bit of toe. And Average Viper just outside of that range, actually. So not getting any from Wax either. There is Toolshed. Currently third in the championship and running ahead of DSR Scarlet. Scarlet currently 5th place in the championship. And we've got a little bit of lag going on again, which is really, really annoying. And I've got to say, there are a number of reasons for it, but one of them is just having a shitty connection. If you're going to race online with other people, you've got to appreciate if you've got a bad connection, it affects everybody. So plug it, hardwire it in, clear your cache, and then everybody's happy-go-lucky bunny. 3.6 seconds clear of Scarlet at the moment, who is the championship leader. So being ahead like that is really, really useful, particularly when you're in that position. I just want to quickly check how many points. I can't remember how many points it is for each position, so I'm going to just double check this now. Because, alright, so it's 18 points for first, 16 for second, 14, 12, 11, 10, 9. So at the moment, Toolshed is sitting on a comfortable 12 points. Scarlet only on 11 points. It's only 1 point less, but that will close the gap by 1 point, which is exactly what you want. But that 1 point actually is enough for Toolshed to go level with Igorski. Where is Igorski? Igorski running in 7th at the minute. That's only worth 9 points. So actually he will jump Igorski because he's a few points ahead at the moment. So let's see where these guys will end up. So this is the scenario. If Scarlet can win this race, he's currently 7 points clear. If he wins this race and Igorski or Toolshed don't finish in the top 5, the gap is going to open up to almost 16 points. No, not that many. Yeah, no, it will be. It'll be 16 points will be the gap. That is that's the second place without the car finishing. And I think that will be unassailable. So Scarlet got some work to do. He knows what he needs to do. He's done the maths. Igorski will have done the maths as well. He knows that he's got to beat Scarlet and he's got to beat Toolshed on the racetrack. And he's doing some work towards that up the inside of Captain Jack. Is Captain Jack going to defend this time? He can't. He can't hold Igorski at bay. So Igorski's starting to make that charge now. He knows what he's got left in terms of fuel. He knows what he's got left in terms of tyres. And he knows that in little under 8 minutes' time, the pit window will open. And then he can decide what he wants to do. And bear in mind, that pit window is open for 10 minutes. So about 4 and a bit laps, nearly 5 laps at this pace that pit window is open, and he can decide how long he wants to run. Me personally, I'd run to as late into that pit window as possible. Give yourself the best chance for the second half of the race. So Wax has just opened up that lead now to 1.9 seconds as we move into the midpoint of lap 16 here at Trial Mountain in these Renault Meganes. Average Viper, good pace from him. Been slowly ramping it up into the 201s and that sort of steady 201s. Watt also doing very, very steady 201s. But Average Viper just keeping it within that, keeping him within arm's reach, and he knows what he's got to do to catch him. They have dropped Krennis. Krennis started on pole, found himself just getting caught by these guys. Now 3.5 seconds back. So at the moment we've got an Australian and 2 Brits in the top 3. In fact, the top 4 are all colonies, or the owner of such colonies. So we've got descendant of a British convict, 2 Brits, and descendant of a British convict in the top 4. And then, of course, we've got the championship leader, Scarlet, in 5th, 3.7 seconds behind Toolshed. But it's all looking very good for the King and his Commonwealth right now. So 1 second that gap to Wax, between Wax and Viper. Quentis 3.6, 7.3 then to Toolshed in 4th place. 3.9 back to DSR Scarlet, who is 9.1 seconds clear of his championship rival Igorski. So now we have the top 3 are directly racing each other. Toolshed in third, ahead of Scarlet, who's first, ahead of Igorski, who's second. All very, very close. Captain Jack, 2.7 already behind Igorski. That overtake was only on lap 15. And we got Devlin, the compatriot and teammate of Scarlet, running in 8th. He is 1.2 clear of Formula One. Very clever play on words, that is. From the United States, who is 5.2 seconds off the fastest man on the racetrack. By some way, actually, with a 2 minutes and 0.4, who is 13 seconds clear of Remy. Now, Remy started way up the order. Expected to see more from him, but he's just dropping like a stone. 12.5 seconds back to Heathen, also from the United States. He's 22 seconds up from Dry Bones Malone. He's 22 seconds up from OK Jake. And we've lost Benjo to a Tantrum. There we go, off he goes. Left the room some time ago, to be fair, he wasn't in it. So, yes, less at the Barrow. So, Wox keeping that distance, 1.1 seconds. And this is the view from Viper's car now. Is Viper just letting him pull away? Just trying to, not letting him pull away, but letting him stay ahead. Has he got a little bit more that he's holding back? That's the question. Is he holding on to some fuel? Is he holding on to some tyres for a later point of the race? This track isn't going to be hugely tyre or fuel intensive at all at these kind of races. You can it's not a huge fuel saving requirement here. Certainly not that abrasive on the tyres. You can take them quite far with the tyre wear we've got in these cars. The Megane's very good at sort of looking after tyres and fuels, to be fair. So even if you're mostly pushing, it's relatively comfortable on fuel and tyres here. I've never really experienced a problem unless you're doing some of the very, very high tyre and fuel depletion rates. It's not that difficult to do a number of solid laps without worrying about fuel or tyres. So Correntes currently running in third. Can't even see the back of his rivals now. On the grass there, on the grass again. That means the gap to Toolshed is going to close. He needs to be much more consistent going through this position, especially if he wants to stay in the top 3. But that's going to cost him a lot of time. As we can see, the gap coming down a little bit there for Toolshed. And Correntes not having a good lap this lap out. Not having a good lap at all. He needs to just kind of get himself back on the racing line. If he has to back out a little bit of a corner, just to find his composure, just to find his line, then that's what he needs to do. But he's still running in third. The gap now to average Viper 7.1 seconds. As you can see, Toolshed still ahead of Scarlet. He's now 4.2 seconds ahead. Now, it'll be interesting to see if either of these, what the strategy is going to be. If they're going to kind of match strategies and go for equal pace, or if they're going to do the opposite of what the other one does. So is one going to sit there and wait and see, well, if he goes in, I'm going to stay out, or vice versa. Be interesting to know. I genuinely don't know what the what works best here, undercut or overcut. I haven't tried it. Certainly not at these tyre rates. I know that at higher rates, depending on your compound, I think the overcut's slightly better. If I remember, I'm thinking back to my last race round here in the Alpha 155, and I think I overcut twice and I've got 3 places. I ended up losing again because I ran out of fuel, and like I normally do, just stupid things. But there we go, Scarlet running in 5th place, 5 seconds back from title rival Toolshed. He is 8 seconds up from Igorski from the United States. I've been interviewing Igorski every single week I've been doing this so far. It's becoming a bit of a habit. Will I be interviewing him again? At the moment, not necessarily. He's outside that top 3, but there is still a lot of racing to go. We are coming very, very close to the pit window. So I think without further ado, I think it's time just to change things up a little, just so we can see what's going on as well, is to remove this bar. And then we can see what's going on tyre and fuel wise. Right, so Wox has been running on the soft tyres. And I told you, this is not very abrasive at all. Big big hit in the wall there. An average Viper goes through. Wax struggles to get himself out of the wall. That's going to bring Correntis right back into that top 3. Right back in. So, average Viper through. Now 5.8 seconds clear. But average Viper running those medium tyres, so he can go right. Well, it doesn't matter actually, because you can go right into the window either way. It's not really abrasive, this track at all. So you can run the tyres without too much stress through. I guarantee you these guys aren't really fuel saving much at all. Wax, big hit in that wall there. That's brought Correntis right up behind him, right up his backside he is now. So Wax, big hit. He's got damage. Is he going to have to go in sooner in the window than he'd like to? Purely because of the damage. He has got the soft tyres on, so it's not a train smash, because these mediums easily run for 50 minutes. But I'm sure he wanted to go in a bit later than the earliest possible opportunity, which will be, there they go, they both come in. Correntis surprisingly followed him in. Not quite sure why he did that, because he certainly had no need to, unless he feels that the undercut's going to be strong. Got to say, that surprises me. I can't imagine anyone would want to come in. Bigorski as well. Coming, I don't. Hopefully, I'll get to interview some of these guys and ask them why they came in so early. I understand why Wax did it. Wax had damage to repair, but Correntis and Igorski, no damage. They've got loads of fuel. They've got loads of tyres. I think it's an unnecessary pit stop. I think you should be running this to the last possible opportunity, particularly if you're on the medium tyres. You want to run this to the last possible opportunity and give yourself lots of yummy, scrummy soft tyres. Unless, they know that soft tyres can run to 50 minutes, which it very much looks like they can. And they just want to get them on as soon as possible. Me personally, no. I would have. When you're running in that position, you're running well, stay on track. Because I'm not sure the undercut's very, very effective here. So average Viper now 13 seconds clear. That promotes Toolshed up into second. It promotes Scarlet up into third. It promotes Devlin up into fourth. The two Belgians running together. They ride together again. Although 16 seconds apart. Captain Jack is running in 5th place now, just by virtue of all these pit stops. And Wax actually was the fastest man on track a few laps ago with a 2 minutes 0.3, beating Tubes, who had that record of 2 minutes 0.4 before that. So 16 seconds Correntis has come out behind Tubes. He is the highest runner of those who have already pit. Wax did have damage to repair, but here's the other kicker. Wax is now on the medium tyre. Correntis on that soft. He's going to run to the end of this race. They're all going to run to the end of this race, of course, unless they crash. Then it's all gone horribly, horribly wrong. So Igorski in 9th. So it's Correntis, Wax, Igorski, Remy, not pit yet. They got out in front of him. Gap's only 2 seconds now, though. Formula One, he has pit, then damaged his car and picked up a penalty. That is disastrous. In fact, you couldn't be more unlucky if you fell into a barrel full of boobs and came out with your thumb in your mouth. 21 seconds back from Remy. He's going to serve a 3-second penalty. He's already going slow because he's got damage. Is that going to bring Dry Bones Malone into it? Dry Bones Malone, you expect to see him further up, to be honest, but not getting it dialed in today. He's also got damage. He's on the medium tyres. He will jump in for fuel soon, but you can see there, very little got off those tyres. Either he's very good at fuel saving, or he's been into the pits, naughty, at some stage and changed his tyres out, but not just now. Because you can see for the damage, that's not just now. Where? Racing soft tyres for, Jake. He's changed his tyres as well, I'm afraid. These guys, it's not my place to enforce the rules. It's my place to commentate on what I see. But by commentating what I see, if I see something I think is rubbish, I will say so, and I think it's very unsporting. They've clearly changed their tyres in a pit stop, without question. There's no way that OK Jake has run 20 laps on those tyres of a racing stop, unless He went in, and there's no way he's worn that out of the tyres in the 3 minutes that the pit window's been open. So that's 2. Dry Bones Malone and Jake, who are just cheating. There's no two ways about it. It's what it is, cheating. Apex Heathen, he comes out of the pits in last place. He has done his first stop there. He's getting a blue flag though already, coming out of the pits. Now, if that blue flag was from Toolshed, and then it will be from Scarlet. So, show me out there. It will always chuck me in a room when someone leaves, and that'll be the rage quit of Benjo. Average Viper, 13.1 seconds clear. He won't want to pit yet. He's in the rhythm. He's in the zone. And when you get that flow, when you get that rhythm, sometimes, even though you're going on to better tyres, it just disrupts you. Just that act of not flowing round the corners, one after the other, and stopping, albeit for, 20, 30 seconds or whatever it is, really can upset your rhythm. But I'm sure he's going to keep his head in the game. 13 seconds clear, he's going to put the soft tyres on at some point in the next 5 minutes, 2 laps, essentially. Same for Toolshed. He's running in second, 4.8 ahead of his championship rival, Scarlet. They are both running the medium tyres. Toolshed looks like doing slightly better on fuel. Now that means he can put less in at the pit stop, which should open up that gap to Scarlet. Average Viper as well, doing very good on fuel. So look, I said you don't have to save fuel around here, but there is a benefit to it in making your pit stop shorter. It's simple as. And obviously making your car lighter at the end of the race if you burn it all off. Scarlet's teammate Devlin has already dropped 3 seconds to him. Scarlet lapping in the low 201s. Devlin being overtaken by Tubes, who did have the fastest lap of the race. So Devlin dropping down that order now. Or does he? Maintains the inside line. Tubes is going to have the inside line though going into this right-hander. But Devlin just got the pace there. So much more traction despite being in the same car. And they are teammates as well. They are ISA teammates. So at the moment, we've got Average Viper, I believe, is private. No, he's not. He's not private here. I can't see who he races for, though. OGR Toolshed. And then we've got Scarlet goes into the pits. ISA Racing Group. Devlin, ISA Racing Group. And also Tubes, ISA Racing Group. So all 3 ISA guys into the pits. Have they been practicing together? On a strategy one, Johns. Captain Jack jumps into the pits also from 6th place. So Crentes, he has pit. Where does that bring him out? How far ahead will he be as Average Viper and OGR Toolshed disappear off up into the distance? They're going to have to pit very, very soon because the pit window is going to slam shut on their lovely little faces. Crentes in 3rd. That's where he comes out. No one else coming out of the pits yet. Through Crentes goes. Up into the top 3 he goes. The gap to Toolshed is 43 seconds. The gap to Viper is 55 seconds. That for me is enough to keep him in 3rd. Igorski up to 4th place. He has pit. That's a good move. So, undercuts work for him. He has come out ahead of Scarlet. He's gone a little bit light on the fuel, but I think he'll be all right. Scarlet's gone very heavy on the fuel, in contrast, which is surprising. So, Igorski comes out in 4th. Scarlet comes out in 5th. Wox is out in 6th, already with some damage. So Average Viper into the pits. Wasn't enough time for him to do another lap. That's the last chance for him to go, and he had to do it. Toolshed follows him in. So there we go. That is everyone, I think, in the pits now. Now we need to see where Crentes is. Here he is. He's just coming round this big hairpin at the end of the last straight of the lap. So he's got to turn right. He's got to turn left. He's got to turn right again. He's got to turn left. He's got a big left-hander, which he'll come up to. So yeah, he'll have the big left-hander here. He'll have to go down the hill past the pit box, then left and then right. And will he get there before Toolshed and Viper come out? So here is the charge. You look down the pit lane. They're in that pit lane. You can't see him, but we know they're there. He turns left. They're still in the pits. Still not coming out. Correntes turns right. He's going to get on the power. Is he going to be able to take the lead of this race? He's heading down that start-finish straight. Where is Average Viper? Average Viper coming out of the pits. So where is Correntes? Where is he? You can't see him. Where is he? He's miles back. Has he crashed? Have I missed something there? Well, he should have been able to see him from there, but I don't know, there's something going on with the view. So he's 2.8 seconds back, but he did jump Toolshed into second. So good move from him. So that's all the pit stops completed. We know where everyone is at now. So Viper, there he is, 2.7 seconds clear of Correntes in second. Correntes did start in pole position. Started on the medium tyres. Yeah, no, he did start on the medium tyres. Yes. Average Viper also started on the medium tyres. Toolshed also started on the medium tyres. So this is a straight pace race. We've got Brit in first, Brit in second. We've got Toolshed, the Australian, in third. We've got Igorski. Igorski is so the top three in the championship are reversed at the moment. Toolshed ahead of Igorski, ahead of Scarlet. Now that is a disaster for both Igorski and Scarlet, because while they thought they were battling each other, no one reckoned on Toolshed closing up that gap, and he's only a point behind Igorski at the moment in the championship. So this will be enough to jump him, unless of course Igorski gets himself a fastest lap. But I'll tell you who it is a disaster for. It's a disaster for Scarlet, because he's going to gain 4 points on Scarlet. That's half. That's half the lead. Is going to be gone if Scarlet can't move up this order from 5th place. He's currently 4.3 seconds back from Igorski. He's 11 seconds clear of Wox though. Wox Motorsport with the fastest lap at the moment, but now with everyone rocking on the soft tyres and the fuel load coming down, I can see that changing. And Wox is in what I haven't been able to say for a very long time. He's in the Belgian sandwich. There is one Belgian, there is the other, and there is some Aussie in the middle. 11 seconds ahead of him, 9 seconds behind are the two Belgian boys. 6.7 seconds back. Oh, Captain Jack still had to pit. Oh, he's pitting for damage. Okay. So Captain Jack jumps in the pit. That promotes everybody. He's in the pits. He's 8 seconds back. It's going to be a lot further as the tube goes through. We'll also see Formula 1, maybe. Don't know. He's 35 seconds back, Formula 1. In 10th place. Remy, 11 seconds back from that, in 11th. Heathen, 3.3 seconds back from Remy. 4.5 back to Dry Bones Malone. Actually, I think someone had to serve a penalty today. Wasn't that Chip Reese? But Chip Reese isn't racing. And okay, Jake in 14th. Obviously, I'm not there. I've taken the place of the first dropout of the race. Let's say that in a polite way, shall we? Average Viper, 0.9. 1 second clear at the moment of Correntes. Correntes is on a charge. He's just taken the fastest lap of the race. That's an extra yummy point. Average Viper currently running a second clear of him, but Correntes is putting the hammer down now. Wants to make some inroads. Toolshed 5.2 seconds back from that, but still inside that top three, which is key. Top three is key for the top three runner, the top three in the championship, really, being Toolshed, Igorski, and Scarlet. Igorski is 6.1 seconds back in terms of pace, very similar to that of Correntes, actually. So we know that Igorski's quick, and look at those lap times in comparison. He's doing sort of mid to high 2 minutes, whereas Toolshed, he has done a mid 2 minutes, but pace not super quick though. He needs to maintain that pace if he wants any chance of staying ahead. If Igorski's putting in very solid laps like that, he's going to open up and pull away from Scarlet, who so far he's done a 2 minutes and 8, but he hasn't maintained that since the pit window. We'll have a look though. We are lap 26. So I said we would get to about lap 42, 43. Oh, God. Sorry, my dog has just farted and it absolutely stinks. And I should talk about it on camera, but it's the worst smell I've ever heard. Oh, yeah. Sorry. I absolutely apologise. I'm covering my nose and mouth because my dog is flipping disgusting. But anyway, onwards and upwards. Average Viper, 2.8 seconds clear of Correntes. We thought the gap was going to close. It didn't really do so. Average Viper's just been the first man on track to go sub 2 minutes with a 1:59.8. That is a phenomenal lap. Absolutely phenomenal. Correntes, the fastest man on the track, and he's done the 1:59, not Average Viper. Apologise for that, Correntes. It is you indeed that did the 1:59.8. What a lap that was. 3 seconds clear of Toolshed. No one else managed to go sub 2 minutes yet, but I'm sure all these guys in the top 6 have got the pace in them to do that, certainly. Igorski, his fastest lap is a 2 minutes point 3. He's got some work to do. He's ahead of Scarlet at the moment. He wants to not only maintain that, he wants to close the gap on Toolshed. He needs to be more than a couple of places ahead of Scarlet. That gap is still 7 points to Scarlet, and he really needs to close that as we come into the last few races of the season. Scarlet running. Heathen just left the room. Have we lost Heathen? Was that a disconnection, or was that I'm having a bad day? Rage quit. Don't know. Is the honest answer to that question. Let's not cast aspersions on that one. I think I'm pretty confident to suggest that Ben Jones was. Just because you look at the situation he was in. Heathen, not so much. He wasn't plumb last unless he had a crash, and there was. But the replay will show the truth, whichever way you look at it. Anyway, Wox, there he is. Was at one stage the leader of this race. He's currently 35 seconds off the lead, 17 seconds behind Scarlet, and now he's on those medium tyres. He's going to be a big struggle to close up that gap. In fact, the gap is opening up on him. Opening up in front, but it's closing from behind because Devlin now only 2.7 seconds off the back of Wox. Looks like the strategy to go for was to start on the medium tyres. Starting on the softs is only really any good for you if you can pull out a massive lead. But it just wasn't to be for Wox. And I had to pick earlier than I think he would have liked to, also because of some damage. So, tubes. I don't know if I call them tubes. There's only one of them. And I'm assuming the NZ means New Zealand and not... the flag is slightly different from the Australian one, isn't it? Yeah, it's slightly different. Difficult to tell from when it's so small. Let's put it to that. So, tube is from New Zealand. So that's what the NZ must be. 6 seconds behind Devlin. 34 seconds clear of Captain Jack in 9th place. And he himself is 6.5 seconds clear of Formula 1. That's a big gap, though. Big gap, 20 seconds back to Dry Bones Malone. Love that name. It's a very piratey name. Obviously, Captain Jack's pretty damn piratey and all, but I think Dry Bones Malone's more real piratey than Captain Jack, which clearly is a Disney pirate. Remy in 12th place, 3.8 seconds, 4 seconds even behind Dry Bones Malone. But huge gap on OK Jake, who's running 47 seconds at the back of the pack. And a penalty there for Average Viper. So not only is the gap only half a second, he has half a second penalty. Correntes turning up the pressure. Lap 25 did a 1:59.8. The first man to go sub 2 minutes. And he makes the overtake before the penalty. And what this is going to do, this is going to throw Average Viper into the clutches of Toolshed. So we had a Brit in the lead. We now have a Brit in the lead. But we're no longer going to have one in second. He's going to get pushed into the loving arms of Toolshed. And Toolshed, I'm sure, will cuddle him and then say goodbye and disappear off up the road as nature intended. So the penalty is going to be served at the end of this lap. How close can Toolshed get? He must see that penalty bar above the head there. Or maybe he can't. He doesn't know there's a penalty there. Can he close? Viper looking to try and make it. You can see it now. You can definitely see it now. So he just wants to get that little bit closer. It's not such a brutal penalty here because you're only just changing up into fourth gear when you serve the penalty. So it's not a train smash. You just don't change up, essentially. You just wait and change up a little bit later. So you will get a bit of a run on him. I don't know if it's enough of a run because they're just approaching this. As little it might be, it is a little braking zone. And they're both in. And both through. Average Viper survives the onslaught of Toolshed. But doesn't survive the overtake of Correntes, who is now in the lead of this race by 2.4 seconds. And they are running on some... But bear in mind as well, that Average Viper's got some damage there. Now, how much time is he losing with that damage? We don't know if that penalty was going to get him, because he's now been overtaken by Toolshed. If he's getting a lot of damage, it's certainly got to be worth repairing it and trying to salvage your race. Because the last thing you want to do is leave it, then decide you need to repair it, or stay out on it and lose too much time. Because there's still plenty of racing to go. We're on lap 29. There is at least 12 or 13 laps left to go as we hit that magic 1 hour mark. So there is at least 15 laps to go in this race. If you're losing 2 seconds a lap, you may as well spend 30 seconds in pits to make your car faster and give you an opportunity to catch. So Igorski up into 4th place. Toolshed at the moment, though, is the man of the moment. He is going to leapfrog. If it stays as it is, he will leapfrog Igorski in the championship. And that'll be a big 4-point swing for him. He will close the gap on Scott. In fact, it'll be more than that, because the points for second place are 16 points. The points for finishing 5th. And Average Viper does take my wonderful sage advice and repairs. So clearly he's losing a lot more than 2 seconds a lap for me, because if we look here, we can't see what his lap time was, but he must know he was losing time. So that is it's going to change complexion a little bit, because Scarlett's going to come out ahead. I think it really depends now on what sort of pace Viper can put in. Can he move up the order? So Correntes still in the lead of this race. He's in the lead by 3 seconds over Toolshed, who is currently sitting 3rd in the championship. So 3rd in the championship. He was 3rd in the race last week. Is the top 3 going to be the top 3 again? At the moment, Correntes says no way. Correntes is determined to stay out there in the front, with Toolshed behind him in 2nd place. 3 seconds back at the moment. If it stays as it is, Toolshed will pick up 16 points. Igorski will pick up 14 points. That will allow Toolshed to leapfrog him by 1 point. He's currently 1 point behind. And obviously it depends on if anyone else gets the fastest lap here. Scarlett will only pick up 12 points for running in 4th place. So that will essentially close the gap 4 points. So Toolshed will close Scarlett's lead to 4 points. Not good for Scarlett. If Scarlett gets ahead of these two, it will make it very hard for them. But if they stay ahead of him, this championship is going to the wire. And that's exactly what we want. We don't want a championship wrapped up a couple of races early. We want the top 3 to be smashing each other's brains out in the last race. Not literally, but side by side, putting one up the inside on the very last corner. And putting it all on the line, risking everything on the last corner just to win a championship. It's what we want to see. Very consistent though from Scarlett, very consistent from Igorski, very similar pace. That's the thing, is they're all very similar pace, and that makes it so difficult for any one of them to get the upper hand on the other. So they have to rely on where they start on the grid, other people making mistakes, little bit of luck through the pit window, and that's the only way they can really decide, because at the moment they're not opening a gap or closing on each other. Just not happening. and we know it's not that abrasive, it's not that fuel intensive, so I think we'll be alright here. I think this could probably stay exactly where it is. Average Viper, he had to pit, he got damage on the car, so he's had to put new engine or new parts on the suspension, which has cost him a few places, but I think ultimately cost him less than it would have done had he stayed out on track and kept trying to plug away with those laps. He is currently sitting in the Belgian sandwich, 10 seconds ahead of Devlin, 15 seconds back from Scarlet. Not entirely sure Devlin is going to be closing up this Belgian sandwich too quickly. In terms of pace, is a good couple of seconds off the pace of Viper at the moment. 3.7 back to Tube, another Ice Racing Team driver, alongside Devlin and Scarlet. He is 3.2 back from Devlin, 3.6 up from Wax. Now, one stage, Wax was leading this race and looking to be pretty racing. Now, for me, went on the wrong strategy. Started this race on soft tyres. Everyone around started on mediums. If you're going to start on soft, you've got to build a gap. He didn't do that. That leaves him now back in 8th place, and he will be vulnerable if Captain Jack can just increase his pace a little bit. Now, his pace is significantly better than Wax, but he's also 33 seconds back. So, my estimation, there is about 14 laps left. 13, say 13, I say it's 13 laps left in this race. He would need to be doing 3 seconds a lap to guarantee he's going to overtake him. Simple as 3 seconds a lap faster every lap. At the moment, Wax 204.5, Captain Jack 201.6. That's enough. If he maintains that distance every lap, he will catch him and overtake him. And he will also pull away from Formula One, who's running in 10th, 29 seconds clear of Dry Bones Malone. He is 57 clear of Remy, who is just being lapped by Wax and might find himself under pressure from OK Jake. Is OK Jake able to capitalise on Wax getting through there with that slipstream? Now, that's always a danger. You've got a faster car coming through, and you know, I've taken it before. You let the car through, you jump in their slipstream, and you use that slipstream on your opponent just ahead. Your opponent who's slowing down under the blue flags, and you just do that little whoo-hoo, and off you go. But Jake hasn't been able to make that work, but he is still putting pressure on. Right out in front, Toolshed has taken the lead of this race. He is ahead of Correntes with a half-second penalty. This is all change at the top of the leaderboard. This will be 18 points for Toolshed. As we see, Igorski putting on the fastest lap of the race, a 1:59.5. Is there a new twist to the tail? Is there a new potential champion in the mix at the moment? Bear with me, sorry. My throat was drier than an Arab flip-flop. So, Toolshed in the lead, and he's already built up a 2-second lead over Correntes. He's absolutely on it like a car bonnet. 1:59.8, so he's gone sub 2 minutes. Correntes has gone sub 2 minutes. Igorski's gone sub 2 minutes. Igorski 3.7 seconds behind Correntes, just lapping Dry Bones Malone there, coming through. So he has picked up a half-second penalty. So on Dry Bones Malone, he makes the move. It also makes the move on Formula One by the looks of it. Who was that? Who else he lapped? Not sure who else he lapped there, but he did lap somebody else. Now, Scarlet. Scarlet's not in big trouble yet. He's got some work to do. Can he catch Correntes? Because right now, if it stays as it is, Toolshed will pick up 18 points. 18 lovely, juicy points. Igorski will pick up 16, 17 points, which is, so they will essentially be on equal points. Scarlet will only pick up 12. Now, the difference between Toolshed and Scarlet is 8 points. So that will put Toolshed and Igorski in joint second place, 2 points behind Scarlet, going into race week 8. And that means 3 races left. Scarlet does not want this gap to close like that. He has got some work to do. Can he put some pressure on Correntes? Can he make Igorski just have a little think about it? But there is Correntes at the minute. He's only 1.2 behind Igorski. Igorski has a penalty. Is Correntes able to put the pressure on, close up, and make the pass? Don't think he's going to be close enough unless Correntes makes a big cock up anywhere here. So here is the penultimate turn. Here is the final turn. We're going to see the penalty served. We know Igorski's not going to have to get out of fourth gear just yet. Here comes Correntes. Why is he not tucking into the slipstream the moment Igorski returns to the track? Schoolboy error. If he tucks into the slipstream straight away there, he is absolutely going past him. He wasn't close enough. He wasn't close enough to make the pass without the slipstream. You've got to tuck in behind that car and pick up the toe as soon as you can. He is starting to close up now though, but I think he could have got that move done before turn one if he just tucked in. But there we go, Igorski in second place. He is just ahead of Correntes. This is a battle going on at the moment. At one stage we were Britain, Australia, New Zealand, or Australia in the lead of this race. Now we are Australia, United States of America, and it looks like I will be yet again talking to Igorski in the top three. Will I be talking to Correntes, or will it be Scarlet? Will it be Viper? Will it be Toolshed? Toolshed currently 8.4 seconds clear. He has absolutely taken control of this race. No more Mr. Nice Guy from the Australian. He has decided he is going off up into the lead of this race, and he doesn't want to give it up. 8.3 seconds is that lead. Igorski running in second. It's not all comfort and flowers and rainbows for him. He can't concentrate on closing that 8-second gap because he's so focused at the moment on that 1 second gap behind. Correntes absolutely keeping that pressure on. So when is this move going to happen? Is this move going to happen? Can it happen? Igorski fastest lap at the moment with a 1:59.5. Correntes had a 1:59.8. Really bad lap last lap. And the lap before, to be fair, wasn't great. Needs to up the pace. He's got a bit of rear damage. Is that going to affect his pace enough to keep him off the back of Igorski? He has no damage. My only question mark of Igorski is fuel. I think he's got enough, but only just enough. He might have to start thinking about some lifting and coasting. It's not a high intensity, fuel intensive car or fuel intensive track, but there is still 20 minutes of this race to go, and I think you just have to be careful. 10 laps remaining from about 9 laps remaining. Toolshed leads 7.5 seconds to Igorski from the United States, 1.8 seconds clear of Correntes, 3.44, just call it 4 seconds clear of the championship leader, the current championship leader, DSR Scarlet, who is running in fourth place, 16.5 seconds clear of the average Viper. No, I call him the average Viper because that's not what his name is. Maybe he's the average Viper. He had to pit after taking some damage. He was looking good for a win in this race, to be fair. Very good for a win in this race. And then it all went Pete Tong. And he is now back in 5th place with a big task to keep to get himself ahead of Scarlet, to get in the top 4, let alone to get himself on the podium. For me, I'm not sure he's got the pace to do it. Nothing against him. They're all quick. It's because they're all quick. It's not because he's not quick. It's because the guys in front of him are also quick. Devlin closes out that Belgian sandwich, although it looks like Tube, with his pace against his teammate, wants to get involved. So it's Isa, Viper, Isa. Can Tube get around Devlin, get into 5th place? Has he then got the pace to go further up the road and chase after Angry Viper? Lap times don't suggest that is the case. Very similar to that of Devlin, though. Very similar. These Ice Racing Group boys, they're definitely racing together. I mean, Scarlet, yes, definitely a little bit quicker. But super quicker? No, not super quick at all. Not super much quicker, should I say. Wox in 8th place, 21 seconds back now. I think any hope of moving up the order has gone for this boy, as is the same with Captain Jack. Look, at this stage of a race, if you're in 9th place, it's not a bad play. Like, everyone wants to be higher, but when you're 20 seconds behind someone, and you know it's going to be hard to catch, but you're also 20 seconds ahead of someone, it's not a bad place to be at this stage of a race. You know, anything can happen ahead. You just got to keep doing your job, keep putting the laps in, keep hitting the apexes, see if you can pick up a couple of seconds here or there, and hope the guy in front of you stacks it. Simple as. Formula 1, he's in a very similar position, but the gap behind's even bigger, so even less to worry about for him. Dry Bones Malone, again, same position, but an even bigger gap. That gap behind is almost half a lap. In fact, it is half a lap. 1 minute 7 seconds. Very different at the back though. These two have a back marker battle going on. And this is one of the reasons why I don't think people at the back should be rage quitting when it's not going their way. Because then you don't get to do things like this, which is have your own little race going on at the back of the racetrack. OK, Jake, crawling on the back of Remy. Remy on medium tyres with a bit of damage. OK, Jake on medium tyres with no damage. Now, is that giving him a significantly enough of an advantage having no damage? Or are they just going to fight this out with Remy having a little bit more pace? Laps 206, 205 for OK Jake. 205. Now, let's talk about it again. I'll do it every week. Consistency. OK Jake is consistently between 205 and 209. The odd battle out there, 220 as we can see. Right? It's quite a spread. Yeah, it's quite a spread. But not quite as bad as this. Anything from 210 up to a 218, 219. And those things, they're not outliers because he's got them a few times. So it is about consistency. If either of these boys are consistent, they're not a second behind Dry Bones Malone. And it's going to be the one of these two that's most consistent between now and the end of the race that's not going to finish in last place. Well, they won't finish in last place anyway because there's two that have quit. One definitely rage quit. One possibly rage quit. Toolshed in the lead. The gap's been cut. 6.4 seconds. It's been cut to. It's not an insurmountable amount to catch. We're at lap 37 of what I feel will be 44 laps. So what are we looking at? Another 8 laps maybe. We've got 15 minutes left. 15, yes, 7, maybe 8 laps at a push. And Gorski's got 8 laps to close a 6.2 second gap. He is consistently averaging low 2 minute dead. Toolshed high 2 minutes. So if we've got 7 laps left, I'm not sure Igorski, unless Igorski can up the pace, which with the fuel he's got left is going to be a bit of a stretch. Don't get me wrong, I think he's got the pace to get him. I just think he underfueled a little bit just to get the jump in the pit stops, and he just has to start thinking about looking after it. It's enough to get into the end. I feel it is enough to get to the end, but just got to start thinking about it, that's all. Just got to start thinking. Scarlett in 3rd place, 5.6 seconds back from that battle. Not entirely sure he's going to close. In fact, I'm not entirely sure that he's going to stay ahead of Correntis. He's passed him at the moment, but he's got to stay ahead of him. That's the key. He's got himself into that top 3. He is saving a big chunk of a couple of points, not dropping out of that top 3. But he's got to stay ahead of Correntis. And Correntis can be very, very quick. Although at the moment, not showing the same pace, and he's got a bit of damage on the back there. Average Viper had to go in the pits. Really damaged his car. Now, looking racy, but is he racy enough? 16 seconds is the gap to Correntis. And despite the, what's the 2 second deficit, it's not going to be enough. There's not enough laps left to catch him, unless he can take another second lap out of him. Tube, not going to catch Viper. Not quick enough for me. Going to struggle to hold off Devlin though. If Devlin can crawl back on the back of him. I said Devlin and Isa, Tube, having a great little battle between them. Wax, talking of Isa, we moved to Asa. Asa Wax 1, 5 and 9. He's 28 seconds back from that battle. He's not being challenged. 11 seconds ahead of Captain Jack, who is 33 seconds ahead of Formula Juan. 40 seconds ahead of Dry Bones Malone. Over a minute ahead of OK Jake, who is still having a backmarker battle with Remy. These two are battling right to the end, and we will probably be spending more time with these two towards the end of this race to see where they end up. Igorski's still the fastest man on the track. The gap 6.4 seconds as we're heading towards, well, actually the beginning of lap 39, it's heading towards lap 40, but in a little while yet. 6 seconds to Igorski, 4 seconds to Scarlet. Now, 1:59.8 was Scarlet's last lap. A 2:01.0 was Igorski's. As Tube into the pits. That to me is not enough damage. Not enough damage there to justify pitting when you've got a race on your hands. Devlin's behind him. I don't think that damage is significantly enough to have justified going in, but he must have felt the performance was off. Who knows? Who knows what his thought process was there? Maybe he was worried about Devlin and Wax catching him and figured he'd get it repaired, but Wax is going to go through. Captain Jack might also go through. He's not far away. This could be a devastating pit stop for Tube. He does come out though. Where does he come out? Does he come out ahead of Wax? Just 11 seconds actually. I'll say just. It's 11 seconds. But he's now 25 seconds behind Devlin. So he's planning to consolidate in 7th place basically. I think he could have gone on. Toolshed's still the leader. The gap's still 6.4 seconds. So he's managing. Oh, the fucking dog's farted again. That stinks. Oh, seriously, dog? What the hell is wrong with you? Oh, seriously, I can taste it. That is the worst thing ever. Toolshed is 6.4p, and I'm really sorry about sharing that with you, but if I've got to suffer it, you've got to suffer it too. 6.2 seconds is the gap. Don't think that Igorski's going to catch him. Oh, Jesus. Don't think he's got the pace, but I don't think he's got enough pace today to still win. It's a Toolshed. It's going to leapfrog Igorski in the championship. But the top 3 in the championship are the top 3 in the race, if somewhat reversed. So we don't even get a Brit in the top 3. We get 2 in the top 5 though. I'll take that all day long. All day long in this competition on the other side of the pond. Toolshed 6 seconds clear. Igorski 2.2 from Scarlett. Now last lap a 2:01.55. Scarlett another 1:59. He's starting to ramp this up, you know. We've got 5 laps left, 4 laps left. And at the moment Scarlett is lapping almost 2 seconds a lap quicker than Igorski. Has this got another story to it? Is this story not over? There is Scarlett up ahead. There is Igorski. Are we going to see a last lap battle for second? Now, how risky does Scarlett want to be? Does he feel he can jump up inside when he gets the opportunity? 1.2 seconds is the gap. Is Igorski just managing his pace a little bit because of that slightly lower refill of fuel that he did in the pit stops? Toolshed 7 seconds ahead. So this is playing into Toolshed's hands. He can cruise this car home because Igorski's only worry is not can I catch Toolshed, it's can I stop Scarlett from catching me. His priority, if he wants to stand a chance in this championship, Toolshed knew it, that's why he went out and got the job done. Igorski knows it, that's why he's trying to get the job done. 7.6 seconds clear of Igorski. There is Igorski. He won't even be able to see the back of Toolshed now. Toolshed is off. But there is Scarlett right in behind. He got a great exit, and it is fuel coming into play. Scarlett makes the move on Igorski up into second. That, I tell you what, a few laps ago, I never saw that coming. Now, here's the question. Has Scully got enough pace to catch Toolshed? Don't think there's enough time. But what a finish that would be if he did. He has just ramped it up, the Belgian. So, I'm not going to get 3 people to talk to again, because Scully doesn't do interviews, man. It's a 6.9 seconds to gap to Toolshed. Igorski now. He's low. He's really low on fuel. He's really low on fuel. I said I thought he underfueled, didn't I? Underfueled, pushed too hard. He's... Tell you what, I'm going to call this now. I think he's going to make it to the end of this race. And I think we're going to see Correntes jump into the top 3. I think we might get a Brit in the top 3. I think we might get 2 Brits in the top 4. Looking at that gap at the moment. Average Viper 24 seconds off the lead. He's not going to get that. He's not going to get the 7 seconds to Correntes. But he might get the 14 seconds to Igorski if Igorski runs out of fuel. Now, he is going to be fuel map 6 right now and absolutely devastated with his... and bearing in mind that he's got a very Halloween livery, you've got to say it's a horror show. Absolute horror show. Underfueled it. And it's not often I call that a pit stop and get it right. But I thought it was a little bit low. There we go. It is what it is. But Toolshed, 6.1 seconds of the gap. He's just got to manage his pace now. He's just got to make sure he keeps that gap around 5.5, 6 seconds. And just make sure that Scarlet knows he's not prepared to give this up. But disaster for Igorski. Being ahead of Scarlet was absolutely key today for his championship hopes. It's going to be a big blow. You know, the old adage is that if you're not going to win the race, at least stay ahead of your rival. And that hasn't happened today. Toolshed's got that job done, albeit the gap's closing very, very fast. Scarlet absolutely chucking it into every corner. Igorski did have the fastest lap in the race. Did he peak too early? Did he chuck that lap in and it was just too soon? The gap to Correntes is 4.6 seconds. We have 4 minutes left. So we're gonna get to lap 42. Well, everyone else is going to get to lap 42. The big question mark is Igorski going to make it to lap 42? He's been so solid last few weeks. He's really been the one to watch. He's been there, waiting, ready to pounce. But now, the question mark is there. Is he going to be able to hold off? And you can just see Correntes in the distance. And he must see that gap coming down and be rubbing his hands together when he's not changing gear. Average Viper, no, I still don't know if he's... I think Average Viper will catch him if Igorski physically actually runs out of fuel. And obviously not right by the line, like further back. But he just underfueled it. It was either underfueled or just over push. Gap to Toolshed, 5.2. Scarlet, 8.1 to Igorski now. Correntes, 3.9 behind him. 5.7 average Viper to Correntes. Devlin 29 seconds back. Anything else going on the back of the pack? There was a bit of battle going on between Remy and OK Jake. Remy's back ahead of OK Jake again. These two have been battling it out for ages. Back and forward, back and forward. Back, hashtag back marker battles. 1.5 seconds is the distance between them at the moment. Dry Bones Malone, miles on the road, 3 second penalty. That'll be a pit line penalty he got there. And he got more damage again, so, well, does that now. Bring Remy and OK Jake into the battle. So there's Remy, 48, 15 seconds back from Dry Bones Malone. What's going on? Is there another story here at the back as well? Certainly looks like it. Scarlet has got himself up into second, as we know. 4.6 seconds behind Toolshed. That gap is coming down rapidly. Toolshed, last lap was a 2-minute 0.9. Last for Scarlet, a 2-minute 0.3. At the current pace, it's not enough. But can Scarlet here ramp it up? And I'll tell you what, if he wins this race from that position, that's a championship performance in itself right there. that would be a championship performance. But all three of the championship contenders really putting it out there. Toolshed's 4.5 seconds ahead. Scarlet 9.9. He's 10 seconds ahead of Gorski, who is dropping into the ever-winning clutches of Quentes. Quentes himself, though, just a little bit short on fuel. Where's Igorski in terms of fuel? Can he make it? There are fumes. Quentes 3.3 seconds ahead of average Viper, who is absolutely on it. 159.7. Quentes with a 202.1. Viper could catch him here. Viper really could be catching Quentes. And Quentes, we know, is catching Igorski. This, I tell you what, I changed my mind about driver of the day. If average Viper makes top 3 here, he's my driver of the day, without question. Absolutely deserves it. But we could end up still with a battle for 3rd, a battle for 4th. I don't think the battle for 2nd's happening anytime soon. Igorski just lapping Remy and OK Jake. So that's the battle there. OK Jake, Remy, Dry Bones Malone drops to the back. So this is exactly what I'm saying about rage quitting. If you didn't rage quit, you would be in that battle now. As we see, everyone from 10th finishes this race. We're on the final lap, lap 43. It is 3.5 seconds to Toolshed as he heads into the tunnel to complete the final lap. Scarlet 3.5 seconds behind. Don't think he's going to be able to catch him now. Igorski is 11 seconds back. Devlin now finishes in 6th place. Igorski with little to no fuel on. Is he going to hold on? Will he hold on to the end of this race? Quentes has got average Viper all over the back of him, crawling on the back of him like a big nasty rash, and he's going to have a penalty to serve. So average Viper could leapfrog Quentes here. He's going to take him with a slipstream before he even serves the penalty up into 4th. Igorski hanging on for dear life in the hope that fuel brings him home. But we are now with Toolshed as he rounds that big left-hander, taking him down to the penultimate chicane, well, essentially the chicane at the end of this lap. Penultimate left-hand turn here. He gets on the brakes, he gets it turned in. Just followed there by Scarlet, and through he goes into the final turn. OGR Toolshed, once he took the lead of this race, he never looked back. And Tubes chucks in fastest lap of the race with a 59.4, just for good measure. So steals it off that top 3. Toolshed through, Scarlet through. Igorski does hold on, no fuel on board, literally scooting it along like a dog with fleas when he's trying to scratch his bum. And he gets it across the line though to finish out the top 3. Average Viper will come home in 4th. Great move on Quentes. Brits fighting to the end. Quentes comes home in 5th. Devlin 6th. Tube in 7th. Wax in 8th. Captain Jack in 9th. 10th was Formula Juan. Remy in 11th. Dry Bones Malone 12th. 13th was OK Jake. And we had Heathen, who was either disconnected or rage quit. And Benjo, who definitely rage quit. So there we go. That's it. OGR Toolshed, DSR Scarlet, and RWB Igorski. Igorski again in the top 3. Scarlet again in the top 3. These 3 really are putting in some phenomenal racing laps. But that's a really, really good result for Toolshed. Picks up 18 points. 2 points over Igorski. 2 points over, sorry. 2 points more than Scarlet, and 4 points more than Igorski. So that will put him into 2nd place, and will close the gap on Scarlet to just 5 points. None of them, though, get the fastest lap. That point goes to Tube, who finished way down the order in 7th. So congratulations to everyone. That was a phenomenal finish to a phenomenal race, has to be said. So I am going to go away and I'm going to find me some drivers to talk to. Don't know if I'm going to get Scarlet on, he didn't usually come on, but I will certainly get Toolshed, and I will certainly get Igorski, who are very, very squeaky bum there. So I'll be with you very shortly.
The was that?
It's Herb. Empire, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good.
No, we're doing this a lot now. I'm starting to talk to you more than I talk to my wife. It's going all
This
right.
one could have.
So, how close are you to run out of fuel, honestly?
Was I think .2 at the line.
That's close. To be fair, when you came out the pits and I saw how much you put on, I did say I thought you were a little bit light.
Yeah, half a lap.
Yeah, and then
That's all it was.
it looked like you were going to save it, and then how long were you on Format 6? 3 laps, 4 laps?
Yeah, probably.
That was a little bit mental, that was. But really, really good race, though, I've got to say. Really, really close racing. I love it when you guys are racing like that. But it's got to be a blow, though. Toolshed. You know, he was sitting behind you in third. He's now taken the win there.
Yeah.
What have you got to do to beat these guys, man?
I don't know. These guys, they came in ready today. I was not expecting how fast that was going to be. I thought it would be 2:01, 2 minutes, but seeing the amount of people that were getting down to the 159s shocked me. And how good and how close the racing was. It was.
Do you know what I think it was? Because I thought, you know, I mean, that track has got 157 in it in those cars. Easily got 157 in it. I know that because I did one earlier, and I'm not even that quick. But when I saw the pace out front from the start, I thought, these guys are really going to go for it. And then I got to thinking, well, maybe they've done a run and they realise that the fuel and the tyres are going to hold out, so they don't have to worry about it too much. Because it isn't that really, it's not really that tyre intensive or fuel intensive here, is it?
No, not at all. I mean, by the time the mediums got warm, you had to change them.
Yeah,
and then
I think you probably
I might have got a quarter off
most of the race.
Yeah, you could have done a whole race on mediums.
Insanity, really was, but absolutely awesome race. I think every week it just seems to get better out the front. But in saying that, it seems to get worse at the back. There's a lot of bumping into each other, shall we say, in a polite way at the back, and people rage quitting. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I'm totally against rage quitting, so we're going to have some conversations with a few guys, and then we'll get it figured out and get it handled.
The irony is that the guys that rage quit, there was massive battle at the back, and there was 3 drivers at the back battling it out at the end. So if they stuck it out, they would have had something to race for.
Oh, yeah, and it's 90 minutes, and anything can happen, so...
I find it really frustrating. But
yeah, it is.
I don't want to talk for too long because I think we're going to be doing this every week and we're going to run out of things to talk about.
For sure. Well, I'll see you next week. Hopefully,
hopefully we will, and hopefully next week you can try and close the gap this time. But Scott, he just seemed to have a second gear and then a third gear and then a fourth gear, and just you'd put in a quick lap and then he'd kind of follow it. It was mental today, absolutely mental. But
between him and Toolshed.
Yeah, the pair of them were very, very quick. But I think once Toolshed got in the lead, he was never getting caught. He really managed that pace quite well.
Yeah.
Right, cool.
Very well.
See you next week, man.
All right, see you.
See you later. So there we have it, guys. That was the only one that joined me for the interview. Didn't hear from Toolshed. Scarlett doesn't speak English great. But fantastic. Again, a chat with Igorski at the end of a race. What does this guy have to do to win this championship? Because he's consistently fast, consistently gets involved in there. Today, I put that to tactics. I think if he an extra couple of litres of fuel, and I think he is definitely finishing second. Another couple more litres, and he might have even put the challenge on to Toolshed. But race is over. Toolshed absolutely melted today, wins that race. Hands down, without question. Shame we couldn't get him in to come and talk to us, to be fair. But here's what it is. Scarlett comes home in second. And again, we see Igorski round out that top 3. So, thank you very, very much for joining me on this very... it's actually quite cold this evening. Very cold early morning here in Blighty. It's been really good fun doing these, to be fair. and looking forward to next week. So, all that's left for me to say is I've been Urban Pirate. This has been the GT Champions World Cup from Trial Mountain in the Renault Megane. And from me and GT Champions and Metropolis.com and Digit Gaming and Pride of the Dragon, Hyprix, RWB Racing, Detailing Group, Renault, Trial Mountain, GT7, Black Flag Racing and Urban Pirate, wishing you a